They've asked Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the UK, if he would ban the burqa.
Will he, in the interests of public safety, follow the lead of France, Denmark, Belgium and others and ban the burqa?
This was his reaction.
I'm not going to follow her down that line.
I'm not surprised that that was his reaction, because he needs the Muslim vote. He is actually selling the country for a few Muslim votes to stay in power. It's either that, or he actually truly believes that Islam should seep into our country slowly, because there's no other explanation. I find it truly amazing how Muslims are now taking the road of saying that women are free to wear what they want, and if they choose to wear the burqa, then it's their choice.
It's just discrimination and anti-hate and for Muslim women, and from another woman, that is absolutely despicable.
Okay. You know, peace and love, happiness, women can do what they want. If what they want means that they have to cover their whole face and body in a bedsheet, then women can do what they want.
3 women in Iran have been sentenced to 55 years in jail for disrespecting compulsory hijab. In Iran, the hijab is the de facto Islamic dress code. A revolutionary court in the capital city of Tehran delivered the verdict to the 3 women who were already in custody. But 3 women had been charged with assembly and collusion to act against national security.
Don't get me wrong, some women might actually want to wear the burqa, but here is my issue. What happens with the women who don't want to wear it and are forced to wear it?
Nobody gets to tell her what she has.
She's a free... that she's actually against Muslim women.
She did not say she's against Muslim women.
By picking on a particular group, should be better of empowering women instead of breaking them down for unreasonable security issues. We have no gaps in the law when it comes to removing the hijab, removing the niqab, and having that, whether it's courts, whatever. So what she's talking about is actual racism, discrimination, and against a particular group.
They can say as much as they want that women want to wear the burqa, that it's their choice. Well, in the Muslim communities where women actually don't want to wear the burqa, they're ostracized by their family, by the community. It's actually a big, massive issue if women in Islamic communities do not want to wear the burqa. So no, I don't buy that women can wear what they want, and if they choose to wear the burqa, they can wear the burqa. No, excuse me, I don't buy that.
My daughter, when she heard that I'm coming to discuss this with you, she is a 21-year-old. Daddy, can you please ask them, firstly, what gives any men the right to tell us what to wear and what not to wear?
3 women in Iran have been sentenced to 55 years in jail for disrespecting compulsory hijab.
What gives any men the right to tell us what to wear and what not to wear?
55 years in jail.
And second question, she said, why is there a desire on the part of society for women to show more skin? Why do they want to see more of our skin?
Well, we just want to see the face.
So if we're talking about
it's not like looking at a load of skin, is it? We want to see their face.
Because we can control ourselves in front of women who are showing skin. Because I can be next to a woman in a bikini on a beach and not rape her. Because I can be with a woman in a beach, she's topless, and I won't do anything to her because I'm not a Neanderthal. I can control myself in front of women topless in a beach. Now, I'm not saying that that's what I want women to do, but I can control myself because I'm not a Neanderthal. If Muslim men want women to cover themselves because they think that men are lustful and want to do things to women if they see skin, then I think the problem are Muslim men, not women showing skin.
You don't think that's a bit medieval? A bit anachronistic?
I don't think so. I mean,
making women cover up their entire faces, walk around with those sinister big black things hanging over them. You don't think that's demeaning to women?
We have to radically change our minds here in Europe and the UK about how nationality works, how giving passports to people works. If I was born in Russia, in Japan, in North Africa, they would not consider me Japanese, Chinese, or North African just because I was born there. That is insane. We're the only society in the world that if you're born here, you're considered to be from here. Now, I'm Spanish. I'm not English. I was raised in this country. I've actually been in this country more than I've been in my home country, Spain. But I'm not English. I don't have an English passport. I could have done it a million years ago, and I didn't. Why? Because I'm not English. I'm Spanish. Europe and the UK needs to radically change the laws in regards of how quickly people can get a passport. I know that Keir Starmer said on his famous Island of Strangers speech, changing it from 5 years to 10 years. No, sorry. Nationalities and passports for foreigners should be given extremely sparingly and in extreme rare cases. Just because you've been here 5, 10, 20, 30 years does not mean you can get a passport from here and become a national from here. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot be accepted here or in Europe, you definitely can, but a passport? Really? So you become from here if you get a passport? That is insanity. Again, nowhere else in the world that will happen. If I was born in Japan, believe me, they would not consider me Japanese. And maybe we should even start thinking about taking away passports from people, taking away the right from people to say that they belong here, to say that they're from here. Just because you've got a passport doesn't mean you're English. Being British, it's much more than a passport. Just because you have a passport doesn't mean that the English government, the English people are not allowed to kick you out of the island. Just because you have an English passport, what? Being English is your culture, the way you act, the way you behave, what you do every day, the culture that you follow, the values that you follow, the principles that you follow, and yes, the religion that you follow. This is a Christian country. It's been Christian for millennia. So no, just because you have an English passport doesn't mean you're English. Being English, again, means following a myriad of cultural principles and values of your heritage. It means how you live and breathe, what you do. If the only British thing you do on a daily basis is speak English, then no, your passport should be taken away from you. You should not have the right to the same rights that an English person have. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work that way. If from the moment you wake up, you go to school surrounded by Muslim people, if then you come home and all you do is watch English in your native language, then you go to the mosque, then all your friends, they're all Arab. No, sorry, then you're not English. You do not have the right to have an English passport. Things should not work this way. This is absolute insanity. I'm going to show you a small clip of Matt Goodwin. You can be a Muslim person and go all day long without intermingling whatsoever into English culture with English people.
He turned up at random to I think a few dozen mosques in the UK. He didn't tell people he was coming, and he finds very clear evidence of extremist ideology, pretty visible. He makes the point that if you're a young British Muslim, you can spend your entire day in many areas of the country, from waking up to going to school to going to mosque to hanging out in your neighbourhood, never interacting at all with the non-Muslim British majority. And there are lots of neighbourhoods like that in Birmingham, in Oldham, in northwest England, parts of London.
Basically, the only thing you do that's English is speak a bit of English with maybe some people during your day. Does that give you the right to have an English passport? If you don't do anything remotely British, why do you have an English passport? I'm sorry. If we want to start integrating people here, which I think it's just impossible by now, that it's just a losing game. That's done and over with. Maybe that could have been done 15 years ago, integrating people. Now, impossible. When you have parts of the population when there's just only one religion, one culture, one nationality, and it's not the English one, I'm sorry, integration is done and over with. It's just not going to happen. We really need to start thinking, both in Europe and the UK, of taking away citizenships, passports, if you do not meet all of this criteria. Now, again, they will call me racist for saying this, but read between the lines. I'm saying that if you are integrated into English culture, if you follow English principles, values, if what you do every day is being British, although you're not from here, then I'm not saying they should take away your right to continue to be here. But if, again, all you do is follow another culture, another religion, is that integrating? No. Well, they should have the right to take away your passport and your citizenship. And I even dare to say, kick you out of the country. The path that the Labour government and Keir Starmer is, the path that they are treading in terms of Islamism, Muslim vote, this, I don't want to sound pessimistic, but it sounds a lot like Iran. And look how they ended up. Look how women ended up. When he's asked about the burqa, he gives this response.
I'm not going to follow her down that line.
And now you have women in Iran actually being persecuted, jailed, killed for taking away the burqa, even like the hijab. I don't know.
55 years in jail.
Look at the Muslim Brotherhood in France. Look at all the problems that now they are actually realizing that the Muslim Brotherhood is seeping into French government, into other parts of society, NGOs. They quietly seep into the country and radicalize people.
A long-term threat to national cohesion. That's how a 73-page report prepared by two senior civil servants describes the threat of the Muslim Brotherhood in France. It warns against the subtle but subversive spread of the movement's ideology.
Look at what happened in France, in Paris, when PSG wins the Champions League. Look at 1998, look at now. What changed? I don't know. What could have changed? I don't know. If you see the pattern, you're racist. Now, if you start to notice these things, they will call you Islamophobic. Well, do you know where the term Islamophobia comes from? It was actually the Muslim Brotherhood, if I'm not mistaken.
It's organizations like the Muslim Brotherhood, deeply disgusting organization founded in the 20s. And this organization is the one actually that came up with the term Islamophobia in the first place. And the reason it created the term Islamophobia was in order to result in what we see now with the suppression of any criticism of the ideology of Islam, which is very different to anti-Muslim hatred. Of course, any hatred against any individual because of their characteristics is virulent and vile. But no ideology, be it communism, be it Islam, be it Christianity, should be free from criticism. And this creation of this term of Islamophobia by the Muslim Brotherhood.
Because what they're doing is they're taking advantage of our Christian heritage, our Christian freedoms that we take for granted, that all these progressive morons take for granted. All the freedoms that they profusely proclaim that they're universal values, women's freedoms, individual liberty and individual rights, not being beholden to church or mosque. Those are all Christian values. All of the freedoms that Keir Starmer takes for granted, they come from Christianity, mate. And if you throw away Christianity, well, I don't know how this will end. But I can tell you that Islamic countries do not have, by any chance, the amount of freedoms that we do. If we let them get away with what we are letting them get away with, we'll just fast forward 30, 40, 50, 100 years. There's another study that says that in 2050 or 2060, I'm not exactly sure if it was 2050 or 2060, but English people will become a minority in the UK. And by the end of the century, this just needs to change. And it's very simple. If you're not integrated into English culture, if you don't speak English, if all you're doing is leeching from the government, while you never want to integrate, out of the country. The 40,000 people on the terror watch list, out of the country. Anyone who commits a slight terrorist act, out of the country. It just doesn't seem that difficult to me. It really is not that difficult. If you take away the welfare state, if you take away the right to not integrate, which I think should be obligatory for any foreigner in this country, out of the country. If we start making it difficult for people to implement and impose their cultures to ours, then the problem is finished, because they will not come here. They will go to somewhere else where they can impose and implement their own way of life. But sorry, not here, not gonna happen. Europe and the UK, they need to wake up and see the path that we're going down will not end well. There's always time to revert this. A lot of people are starting to not be afraid about this and speaking up about this. I think more of us should actually speak up about this. I don't have a massive following, but I dare to speak my mind. You should do the same. Do it in your school, do it in your university, do it with your friends, do it with your family. Everybody, just say what you think, and maybe we could change something. Thank you very much for watching, and like always, see you in the next one.